So guys, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are well. Guys, I want to touch on a subject. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a live stream talking about Eddie Hearn leaving Sky Sports. So you guys probably know that Eddie Hearn has left. He's going to sign a deal with DAZN, and I want to talk about that in more depth, to be honest with you, in that live stream. So tomorrow I'll be doing a live stream about 6:30. This video will actually be probably put out tomorrow around 2:30. So you'll know, if once you see this video, you'll know that I'm doing a live stream at 6:30. Also, I'll probably tonight, so before this video goes out, I'll probably put a confirmation out or a scheduled time for 6:30 tomorrow, talking about Eddie Hearn leaving Sky Sports. But this video, I want to do a video on something that I saw Billy Joe Saunders' dad do. And guys, I'm doing a lot of videos about Billy Joe Saunders Canelo. It's the big fight coming up. It's the biggest fight of the year. That's why I'm doing a lot of videos about it, and it's getting a lot of traction in terms of you guys are really liking the videos and liking me giving you information, update about it. I will obviously, don't get me wrong, any big news that comes out like this Eddie Hearn news that has come out, I'm going to be doing live streams on it. And also, if there's any big, I will be doing other videos as well. Don't worry about it. I will. At the minute, it just seems like the middleweight division's on fire, and especially around this Canelo and Saunders fight, there's obviously a lot of talking. A lot of factors that I want to talk about. I will also answer one of the subscribers' questions about Wilder and Foreman in the live stream tomorrow. But I want to focus on Eddie Hearn leaving. Eddie Hearn leaving Sky Sports and joining DAZN in the UK. So I will put out tonight. I will definitely put out a reminder. So I'll do that straight after I do this video. Actually, I'll put a reminder for 6:30. So 6:30. It'll be when this video goes out. This video will go out at probably 2:30, 3 o'clock, right? So in about 3.5 hours time, I will be live, talking about the Eddie Hearn stuff, Eddie Hearn joining DAZN on I believe a 5-year deal. So yeah, we'll talk about that in more depth. But I want to talk about Billy Joe Saunders' dad in this video, coming out and saying that we want a fair fight. Listen, a lot of Canelo fans have hit out at Billy Joe Saunders and saying Billy Joe, he's making excuses. And I agree with Billy Joe. Billy Joe Saunders isn't going to knock Canelo out. Canelo has got one of the best chins in boxing. You ain't knocking Canelo out, right? Billy Joe Saunders, the only way he can win this fight is by decision. He can only win this fight by decision. Let's be honest. Let's be realistic, guys. How's Billy Joe going to win this fight if he's going to win it? By decision, right? He can't beat Canelo. He's not going to beat Canelo, by knocking him out. He hasn't got the power. He hasn't shown the power throughout his career. He hasn't really even put many guys down. And Canelo, for me, has got an unbelievable chin, probably way better than anyone that he's fought. So to say anything's impossible is in boxing, anything is possible, especially when it comes to boxing, because, one punch can change anything. But if we're going off their career so far, we go off Billy Joe's punching power and Canelo's punch resistance, I think it's fair to say that Billy Joe's not going to get the stoppage in this fight. So his best chance, and I don't think he's coming to get the stoppage, I think his best chance is to win the fight on points. And they know that. Billy Joe's team know that, right? The way they're going to win this fight is boxing and moving, right? So they need the judges to be on point. Because if there's any, bias or favoritism going on, right? Billy Joe Saunders has literally got no chance of winning. Even if it's close, he's not going to get the decision, and he knows that. So it makes sense for him to make sure that everything is fair. He needs to make sure that the judges are in place and everything is fair from his point of view, because he doesn't want to, train hard and, train hard in the gym and then get robbed, when it comes to on the scorecard. So it's very important actually for him to make sure that everything's in place. And if he's already signed a contract saying that there'll be one British judge, one Mexican judge, and one British and Mexican and American judge, then it's only fair he gets what he signed up for, you know? If he signed the contract from his end, and that's what it says in the contract. Now, I don't know because I've not seen the contract, so I don't know what's in there. But if that's what he signed up for and that's what he said he signed up for, then that's what he should get. That's what you should get. So I think it's only fair them raising their concerns because they know how they're going to win this fight. And they need to make sure that, you know, that everything's fair on the night. And especially if we go off, you know, previous fights of Canelo, some of the close fights that people thought, you know, could have gone the other way, went Canelo's way. So I can understand why Billy Joe Saunders is obviously a little skeptical, thinking that, you know, I want to make sure that from my side, it's fair. You know, going into the fight, everything's fair. The judging, the referee, everything is you know, fair. So yeah, I don't blame him, you know, saying what he's saying. I think it's right. I think, you know, if that's what he signed up for, there should be one British judge, one Mexican judge, one American judge. I think the fact that a lot of you may say, and I know a lot of you have said it in the video that I did previously, that a lot of you said, well, it's not going to matter anyway because Canelo gonna knock him out. And yeah, that might be the case. I predict Canelo to stop Billy Joe, but that's irrelevant what we predict. The fact is the man should get a fair crack. You know, so just because, yeah, that's what you predict, that doesn't mean that Billy Joe shouldn't be getting what he wants, because that's going to happen anyway. You know, if Canelo's great, right? Canelo's great. So really, it shouldn't matter to him what it is. And I personally think if Eddie Hearn has also agreed to that, then Eddie Hearn's the promoter. He's the one in charge, and I'm pretty sure he has involvement in who the judges are. And we don't know the situation. Obviously, we know that we're in a global pandemic right now, and we don't know what the situation is with the travel and stuff. So we don't know what's going on. A lot of UK fans are not able to travel to there. So we don't know what the situation is. Maybe, obviously, although, you know, that's what he signed up for, unfortunately, with the situation, maybe a judge can't fly over there. We just don't know the situation, the full situation. So for me personally, I think that Billy Joe, if he's got concerns, he should let them know. And I know some people will say he's making excuses, but I think it's fair. If he's signed up for one British, one American, and one Mexican judge, then that's what it should be. Shouldn't be anything else, because the reason why he signed up for that is because he had concerns prior, and they obviously said yes, they'll provide that, because he had those concerns prior going into the fight. He wanted neutral judges, or judges from different countries. So yeah, hopefully he can get what he wants, and there's no excuses going into the fight or after the fight. Even if he doesn't get the judges he wants and Canelo stops him, then the judges aren't going to matter at the end of the day, are they? But yeah. I don't have a problem with him raising his concerns about it. I think it's right. If he signed up for that, then that's what he should get. You know, remember, he's not going in there to stop Canelo. He's going in there to outbox him, use his movement, use his skills, use his boxing skills to win rounds. Right? So I can understand. And plus, you know what? Billy Joe and his father, they're not afraid to let their feelings known as well. You know, his father clearly said, we want a fair fight, we want a fair shake. His dad said that I saw Eddie Hearn, and if I knew about this, I would have approached him and let him know a piece of my mind and stuff. It must be a difficult situation for Eddie Hearn as well, because I don't think Billy Joe is obviously very happy. The fact that he probably feels that Eddie Hearn's favoring Canelo, and he's already setting up a fight with Caleb Plant for the undisputed. I don't think that sat down well with Billy, and I won't be surprised if maybe Billy Joe Saunders, maybe after this fight, if he was to lose, may go back with Frank Warren. I don't think Eddie will care that much, because Eddie's got so many fighters. He wouldn't mind Billy Joe leaving him, because he's got so many great fighters now. He's got Canelo, he's got Anthony Joshua. I don't think he'd mind if Billy Joe was to leave him, because Billy Joe, although he's a good fighter, what big fights are there that are going to make Hearn a lot of money? Maybe the Eubank fight is a fight, especially now that, you know, Eubank is working under Hearn, although he's promoted by Kalle Sauerland, Eddie Hearn will probably promote a lot of his shows. And Eubank is fighting on an Eddie Hearn show, isn't he, with Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora. So yeah, maybe that's a fight that Eddie could make here in the UK that could probably sell 40, 50,000. But I think both of them would have, one of them would have to win a world title for that. Maybe Eubank could beat Murata. Maybe Eubank could get that fight with Murata. We know that he's the WBA interim champion, and what's his name? And Murata's a super champion. So maybe they could get that on. If Eubank can win that, him and Billy Joe can have a fight for a middleweight WBA belt. I still think Billy Joe can make middleweight. I don't think he's a big super middleweight. I think he could easily get back down to middleweight and make that weight if for the right fight. And I think Eubank would be a great fight. But it just depends on what Billy Joe wants to do. He might just disappear into the sunset after the Canelo fight, because we know that he's making a lot of money from this fight. So he may not want to fight again. But yeah, I am very intrigued about this fight. I'm excited. That's why I'm doing videos about it, because I am very excited for this fight. And I hope Billy Joe gets what he wants. I think, you know, like I just mentioned, his best chance of winning this fight is to win a decision, not to get a knockout. He's not going to stop Canelo. So he needs to make sure that everything's in place in terms of judging, and everything's in place, how he signed up, what he signed up for. So yeah, I can't wait now. I can't wait. The fight's getting closer. They had a virtual press conference today, and it's a good watch. You know, I think Billy Joe had a little bit of dig at her and saying that, listen, you're planning for a fight after this one. And he goes, other champions in the past have found out that, listen, you can't overlook me. You've got to beat me first. You've got to beat me first to become undisputed. You've got to go through me. So Billy Joe Saunders is quietly confident. He also mentioned another thing which I found very interesting. He goes, I'm gonna talk about me taking part, because a lot of people think that it's just me taking part and I have no chance of winning. He said something like that. And that again shows that, you know, he's got the bit between his teeth, and he wants to prove a lot of people wrong, because there's a lot of people writing him off. And you could say, I'm on my channel, I've written him off. I don't think he's gonna win. So he's got a lot to prove, and there's some more people that think he's going to get beat. Some people think he's going to get smashed to bits in 1 or 2 rounds, which I totally disagree with. But there are people out there that think that. So I can understand his frustration of being written off. But it's on May the 8th, he's got his chance to prove everyone wrong. And he has got the talent. He has got the ability. Can he all put it together on that one night to shock everybody? Because it would be a shock. It would be a shock. This would be a huge upset if he was to pull it off. Eddie Hearn even mentioned it in the virtual press conference that it'd be one of the biggest wins by a British fighter of all time. Usually when it's the biggest win from a British fighter of all time, it's because it's a massive upset, because people aren't expecting you to win. It's like, for example, if Canelo was fighting Joe Calzaghe, although it would be a great win for a British fighter, it wouldn't be one of the best wins of all time, just because of the fact that Joe Calzaghe was rated very highly, and he would also be bigger than Canelo. This is a different situation. You know, no one really thinks that Billy Joe is anywhere near Calzaghe's level. So it's for Billy Joe to really prove himself, because what he's done in his career so far, the resume is quite thin, and Canelo's a massive step up. So that's why he's being written off. I don't think anyone doubts that he's got ability and talent, and a lot of people, like, I hope he wins. Even though I like Canelo, I hope Billy Joe pulls it off. I would really love to see Billy Joe pull this one off. For boxing, you know, change of the landscape. You know, when there's a guy that's a cash cow and he's running things, when someone beats him, it changes the landscape. It changes everything. And that's why it's always great never to see a dominant champion where someone can come and beat him, because it changes the landscape. You know, then all of a sudden Billy Joe Saunders becomes a huge star. Look at Ruiz, for example. Ruiz, although he lost to Joshua in the rematch, look how big a star he is now. Everybody talks about Ruiz. He's such a big name. It changes the landscape. It adds another star to boxing. And that's the same thing that would happen with Saunders if Saunders can pulls it off. Even though he may fight a rematch and lose to Canelo, for example, but his name is now out there. His name is ingrained in history. He's changed the landscape because he beat Canelo. He'll be forever remembered because he beat the pound for pound #1. Do you understand? So I can't wait. I can't wait. Hopefully Billy Joe gets what he signed up for. Hopefully there's no excuses before or after the fight, and we get a fair fight. And the best man wins. That's what I'm hoping. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.